Another explosion. Here we are, Exhibitor Week. Here with my good friend Danny from Monster. Danny, what's up, buddy?
Thanks for having me.
Monster, been around forever, right? How many years?
We're going on to 27 years now.
Holy, 27 years.
27 years. I've only been at the company for 17 years, so I'm pretty new to the business.
That's amazing. So that means I was in high school when you guys first started. Ooh. Can we go back 27 years? Can I take a rewind?
I was 10 years old 27 years ago, so I don't think
now you're
yeah. I don't think I knew what the internet was 27 years ago.
Oh, that's too funny. Well, hey, thank you for coming on. We're definitely excited to see you guys there at Staffing World, in Charlotte, man. It's going to be 80 degrees too, Danny. I don't know if you checked the weather, man. It's going to be perfect weather.
I will welcome it. Coming from New York, it's been a little bit rainy and drizzly this past week, so bring out 80 degree weather.
I'm from Pittsburgh, so all we have is the terrible towel and rain and overcast for 9 months.
And Primanti's French fries on sandwiches.
Oh my goodness, you just mentioned that. Wow. Okay, so I take it you love Primanti Brothers, right?
Who doesn't? I won't befriend anyone that doesn't like it.
And if anybody knows, if you come to Pittsburgh, please reach out to me. The sandwich is so big, and the coleslaw is not what you think it is. It's vinegar coleslaw, and it's badass. And one sandwich, seriously, you eat one, you're done for the day, man.
Oh yeah, they should serve it with a sleeping bag and a pillow.
For me, it's an Iron City beer and wash it down with, so I'm good to go.
Love it.
Let's just jump into what's going on with Monster because, off record, we talked, and I'm kind of excited. You guys got some new stuff going on. You're going to share with everybody out there at Staffing World. So just give them a little tidbit of what's going on right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So over the past couple of years, there's been such a focus on automation. A fun statistic that I like to share is the Grid Report recently shared that about 19% of the staffing industry is utilizing automation in some way, shape, and form, where the retail industry is at 100% adoption of some type of automation.
Wow.
So usually we look to the retail industry as being the front runner in adopting technology. And if there's 100% adoption there, it'll slowly start to trickle down. So with this migration to automation and now leveraging generative AI or other types of artificial intelligence, Monster had to take a step back and say, how do we feed the beast that is automation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yourself and other staffing organizations have spent so much time and money curating the perfect technology stack for your businesses. And if you're not feeding that system the right data, everything else is going to be off further down the line.
Yeah, you're right.
So we've been migrating our conversations away from buying licensing and hoping that somebody applies to your job, and we've been moving to more of a performance-based conversation. So how do we get you the most recent phone number for a candidate in your system, right? If you found a job 20 years ago as a customer service person, what are they doing now? Are they still living in the same city or state? Have they gotten a promotion? Did they go back to school? Are they now the chief customer success officer at that same company they were working at, right? How do we give you more data so you have more relevant conversations with your candidates? So we've been focusing on becoming more of a data-centric provider and a performance-oriented organization, as opposed to somebody that sells just pure licensing and hopes that your teams, adopt that technology. And it's more important now than ever with such a focus on automation and AI.
Oh, so true. And you know what, when you said about resumes, I love because you guys give the exact email, the phone number, and everything like that. There's other platforms there that won't give you that. I mean, that's a key for you to connect to the next person. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. The speed at which data is changing is wild. According to the U.S. Postal Service, over 100 million people moved over the past 3 years. So if you have a profile in your applicant tracking system that is 3 years old, chances are there's a 33% chance in the U.S. that that's not right anymore, right? So people moved out of high costs of living areas, like where I am in New York, to their hometowns in middle America, where it was way more affordable. And if you message them about an opportunity in New York, but now they're in North Dakota, they're probably not going to respond to you, or if they do, it's unsubscribe. So it's really important that you have the most accurate data about somebody geographically or from a professional standpoint and employment history standpoint.
I love that. And I got to ask you, because this is old school, resume database that people can still search, right? I mean, if they want to.
Yeah, it's still there, right? We know that there's not only one way to skin a cat. So if you need to have manual access to a database, we're there. And you mentioned it earlier, we're one of the only platforms that still offers you access to phone numbers, right? The phone call is not dead, right? I answer every single call for the most part.
I'm going to tell everybody out there, it's still alive. You got to text, call, email, all three.
Absolutely. For many years, the email was the way to go, right, to engage with people. And then once you started to get 100 emails a day, then there was the transition to the text message. Well, text messaging is getting to the point now where, it's losing its favor, right? You might have 50 unread text messages at the end of the day every day. So the phone call is definitely alive and well, and we're one of the only providers that not just provides you phone numbers, but email addresses and first and last names, which is wild to think that there are platforms out there that don't expose that type of information to their users.
No, it's amazing. They'll say Amy B, and that's it. You'll have no clue. So you can't search on LinkedIn or nothing for that candidate at all. You're just pretty much, and time you find that name, I mean, if somebody else has already reached out or something like that, I mean, time is money.
100%. So if there's a way that we can help feed your automations that you've already set up inside of your applicant tracking system, that's what we want to do. We don't want to pull your recruiters out of the process that you've created. We just want to keep feeding that beast and rolling new profiles into your system and giving recruiters a heads up that one of the candidates that's on their bench is in the market and ready to be deployed.
Love it, man. I'm going to shoot this up in the loop a little bit. Maybe you want to explain a little bit about this, but man, this is what's going on here.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm leading a session on Thursday at Staffing World called Build versus Buy, and this slide that you just had up is called the Staffing Infinity Loop, and it's something that'll be a takeaway for the session. Great. But it's a document that we use to guide conversations with our partners, right? How many technologies do you have in one of your businesses? It could be 10, 20, 30 technologies, right, outside of your applicant tracking system that you use. A lot of times those systems are disparate and they don't talk to each other. So what we do is we walk through this infinity loop and your entire technology stack and help figure out where there's opportunities to create more efficiencies and better integration points. So we're hosting a session. We have some heavy hitters on that panel. We have Jim Essey from the 10 Positions group of companies. We have who's the CEO and founder of that organization. We have Kara Rogan, the president and CEO of Cowork Staffing, and Larry Dirth, the president of recruiting for Insight Global. So a lot of great insight and input is going to come out of those folks on Thursday of next week.
I'm excited about that session because I think it's so crucial to learn more. I mean, we're always learning. I'm going to tell you, Danny, this AI is coming so quick than we talked about earlier on some of the shows. I mean, seriously, within a couple of weeks, you got to keep up every day with this stuff. I mean, it's
Yeah, AI is definitely the buzzword or term of the year in the staffing industry, and I don't think everyone should be fearful of it, right? A lot of times we look at technology as a foe, but it should really be looked at as a friend. For sure, traditional jobs will be impacted in some way, shape, and form negatively by AI. But on the other side, there's also going to be new opportunities that are created because of it. So here's an example. ChatGPT is now, a few months in, the fastest growing technology platform, right, in the history of the world. And ultimately, what we're seeing is that you need to know what to input into ChatGPT to get the right output. So a new job has come about in the past few months that we're seeing on Monster, and it's called a prompt engineer, right? So a lot of people are talking about how AI is going to impact jobs negatively. ChatGPT just created a whole new job in our industry, right? A prompt engineer, which is never been heard of before.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be more of those types of opportunities that pop up in the coming months and years because of AI and advancements in technology. So we should really be looking at this as friends, not foe.
Oh, of course. And everybody keeps saying AI is going to take their recruiter's position. It's never, Danny. It's never going to do that. It's just going to, I'm telling you, it's like a turbo. It's going to help us out.
I agree. You're tugging at my heartstrings. I'm a car guy, so I love the turbo.
You love that little turbo action. You know, nitro, the third little nitro in there in your recruiting. So, okay, so the bad name I'm going to say is Monster's not a job board. Am I right? People think, when they think of different job boards, they think, the different ones out there, and I won't mention other names, but they're like, Monster, another job board. But you guys aren't at all.
No, we're much more than just a destination, for candidates to find a job. That's still a big part of who we are, right? We like to be a resource for candidates when they're actively looking, but candidates come to Monster to research salary information, right? Employers come to Monster to learn about hiring trends in the marketplace, so learn about what they're doing, what we're doing from a DE&I perspective. We own other platforms like military.com, which is the largest population of veterans in America.
Nice.
And we build and cultivate a community there where people share, collaborate as people are transitioning out of active duty into civilian life. We help them transition, right? And we have tools to help them figure out if they were, in the Army and were doing X job, in civilian life, they can do Y, right? So we're much more than just a place for a transaction to happen, which would be finding a job. But again, that is the bread and butter of who we are. But we do many other things that are ancillary to just being a traditional job board.
And you guys have some great marketing, by the way. I mean, everybody knows the Monster and the purple. And I remember back in the day, the purple shoes and all the fun things. I mean, when you go to Staffing World, you guys always make like an imprint of something like, wow.
We try. I can't take any credit for that. I will take credit for the purple shoes, but that's about it. But the rest of the credit goes to our marketing team.
Well, the purple Chucks, they're badass. I ain't gonna lie, man. If that was you, man, that's badass stuff right there for marketing. I mean, everybody loved them that year. It was like, I think it was in DC. I think it was when you had them. Good times.
They will make an appearance again this year just because you mentioned it. I'm going to dig through my attic and find them.
Dude, if you do, me and you're taking a pic, man. I'm hashtagging that, man. Send it out to everybody.
Deal. And on the shoes note, funny anecdote. I got a pair of custom-made shoes from a staffing firm earlier this year to wear at Staffing World. So they bought a couple of pairs for themselves and also had a pair sent to me. So those might be coming out as well this year. So the shoe game will be strong this Staffing World.
Man, I love it. I guess I'm going to have to go buy some shoes this week, right? Man, this weekend. Amazon Prime, here I come. I still got time.
I love it.
All right, so I want to throw this up there. So you guys have a lot going on at the booth here. I mean, speed talk, stuff like that. Can you break that down a little bit for everybody coming to your booth?
Yeah, absolutely. So outside of the booth, we are holding another session, a speed talk held by Allison Goldman, who's a 20-year Monster veteran. She's going to be talking about Gen Z and how to engage that audience. I think for many years, millennials, were the focus, and I'll call out that I am a millennial. But at a recent conference a year ago, it was made very clear that millennials aren't that young anymore, right? I'm almost 40 years old. Some millennials have minivans, right? So we're not the new kids on the block anymore, and we're starting to shift our focus to the next generation, which is Gen Z. Which are classified as digital natives. These are people that grew up with cell phones in their hands, right? So their expectations of technology are very different than myself or anyone older than me. So Allison's going to outline what we can do to curate a good experience for that whole Generation Z talent pool.
I love it. You guys have so much going on there. It's exciting. I mean, I can't wait. And definitely reach out to me when I'm there because I'm going to be doing live podcasting. Love to have you guys on some of the shows and different things like that to, embrace what you guys are doing to make an impact.
Absolutely. I will definitely see you there next week, and we'll have a cameo with the purple Chucks.
Oh boy, I might have to bring some purple ones out too. Before we go, I just want to give a shout out to, there they are, Advanced Partners. You know what? They put the fun in funding. There it is right there. But hey, Danny, anything else? You want to throw anything else out there before we go? Before we go to the one and only Charlotte?
I'm excited to see everyone in person. I know this is the who's who of the industry. This will be my 15th Staffing World. So I'm excited to add another notch on my belt. There's a lot of great content that's going to be shared at Staffing World this year. It never disappoints. So I look forward to seeing everyone live in person next week at booth 706.
There it is. And it's all about AI. It's like the A-Team. If we remember that, I pity a fool if you don't go to Staffing World, right? But before we go, okay, Danny, I don't know if you know this or not, but NASCAR is big, of course, right? That's our theme. I don't know if you remember this, but there is somebody else that's real famous from Charlotte. You ever watch wrestling before?
I have, but who are we?
Okay, so the one and only Nature Boy, Ric Flair, is Charlotte. Of course, right? So on 3, we got to do the famous woo. All right, are you ready?
You have to give me a little heads up. What are we doing?
We're going to do the woo, the Ric Flair.
Let's do it.
1, 2, 3. Woo! That's what we're going to be doing in Staffing World. You guys get a chance. You know who to talk to. Monster right down below there. Check them out. We'll see you guys soon.